Hello and welcome. Today we will be learning about how vaping affects your physical and mental health. The goal of this lesson is to teach you the dangers of vaping and importance of saying no or quitting, how to recognize signs you or a friend might need help, how to help a friend or get help for yourself, how to access and use the Say Something Anonymous system and new student mental wellness page for resources to help with quitting, and what a Live Free Club is and how to join. During this lesson, you will watch 3 videos about vaping, detailing not only the physical dangers, but also how it can affect your mental health. Following each video, you will participate in guided class discussions regarding the topics covered. After the discussions are complete, there is a brief presentation on Live Free Clubs and how to join. We will do a checkout before ending the lesson in order to check for understanding and acknowledge any feelings you may have before ending the lesson. Some of this can be difficult to think about and discuss. Let your teacher know if at any time during the lesson you feel like you might need to talk to someone about your feelings. The first video discusses the effects vaping can have on the brain.
E-cigarettes, or vapes, are battery-operated devices that produce vapor instead of smoke. And instead of being packed with tobacco, they have cartridges filled with a liquid that contains flavorings and nicotine. Vapes haven't gone through a health and safety review yet, but that hasn't stopped big companies from making all sorts of unfounded claims and tempting you to try them. Meanwhile, the science is in. Researchers have found harmful ingredients in vapes, including ultrafine particles that can damage the lungs, oils and flavorings that are linked to serious lung disease, volatile organic compounds like benzene, which is found in car exhaust, and poisonous metals like nickel, tin, and lead. And then there's nicotine, which is extremely addictive and especially bad for young people because of the way the brain works. Our brains grow rapidly until we reach our mid-20s, and using nicotine while it's still developing can disturb this process and increase our risk for addiction and mental health issues later in life. This is because nicotine affects synapse formation in the parts of the brain that control attention and learning, which can lead to memory issues, mood disorders, and lower impulse control permanently. Kids who use nicotine in middle and high school are more likely to use cigarettes and other drugs in the future. Young people who vape are 4 times more likely to go on to smoke cigarettes than those who don't, and juuling delivers way more nicotine than smoking. A single Juul pod is equivalent to 20 cigarettes, which makes all of these risks even more dramatic. It could take years before we fully understand how vaping affects our health. It took 120 years for researchers to show how dangerous cigarettes are. But what experts already know should stop us in our tracks. Get ahead of history. Protect your brain.
One misconception about vaping is that it is a safe alternative to smoking, even though vapes have not gone through a health and safety review. According to the video, some of the many dangers of vaping are inhaling ultrafine particles that can damage lungs, oils and flavors linked to lung disease, and inhaling volatile organic compounds and poisonous metals. What are your thoughts on this? This video also highlighted the dangers of nicotine, especially when used during adolescence, such as disrupting brain development and increasing the risk of addiction and mental health issues. Had you considered these dangers before? Can you think of any others? This next video discusses the effects vaping can have on your mental health.
Hi, it's Caitlin.
Hey guys, it's Isaac.
Hey, it's Chloe.
It's Katie. I have the craziest story to tell you.
My chest would start to hurt. I'd get really, really dizzy.
I couldn't really breathe.
My heart started cramping
I
up.
was beating so fast. My chest would feel like it was on fire.
Sometimes I would even pass out. My name is Katie Jo. I'm 11 years old and I started vaping in July.
I'm Caitlin. I started vaping 3 years ago.
My name's Isaac and I started vaping at 17.
I'm Chloe. I'm 17 and I started vaping when I was 15. As soon as I started vaping, like, I started having panic attacks.
I thought it just affected your body and not your mindset.
It was making me feel less than who I was. My confidence was just dropping.
I thought vaping could be a stress reliever because most of my friends were doing it and they were telling me how it helped them through school and homework, and I was trying to make a decision of where I wanted to play college football at, and I was just extremely stressed, so I picked it up and tried it.
Vaping does not make you relaxed. If anything, it makes it so that you are more anxious.
At first, I didn't think it was, like, addictive. I thought I was kind of stronger than it, but soon I realized, like, it was holding kind of a power over me. Like, I would leave class and use it, and I was always craving more and more. Like, it was never enough.
A lot of people assumed I was happy all the time, but once I got home, I would go to my room and it'd just be depression and sadness and loneliness, and I felt like no one was there for me.
Well, I started isolating myself from a lot of people, friends, family, in the world.
My anxiety got really bad after I started vaping. It wouldn't even have to do with vaping. It would just be like about anything really. And it was odd because I was never an anxious person before.
I realized what vaping really did to me. It was not helping me cope. It was canceling out my ability to cope.
I started to feel anxious, and it wasn't happening to anybody else. So that meant that something was wrong with me. That just made me feel even more anxious and even more sad.
It made my anxiety so bad, I couldn't even leave the house. I was scared to go to school. And then once I stopped, everything got better.
I started a club at my school with my friend Tommy. We decided that other people needed a support group to, like, know that they're backed when they wanted to quit.
You don't have to keep doing it if it's not something that you really want to be doing.
I'm someone that has done it, and so I kind of want to be that voice for the, like, generation coming up to make sure they don't make the same mistakes.
It is a common misconception that vaping relieves depression and anxiety symptoms. However, you heard the youth in this video explain how vaping can actually make mental health symptoms worse. What are your thoughts on this? Up next is a video illustrating the severe impact that vaping can have on your physical health.
You hid your vape underneath your pillows.
Yeah.
And you would come and smoke how often?
Oh, I couldn't go longer than like 10, 15 minutes without hitting it. It was so addicting. I brought it with me everywhere I went.
Seema Herman never expected that what she thought was a harmless habit, vaping, would end up nearly killing her.
It took 2 days for my lungs to fail, and I almost died.
The 18-year-old going viral with this photo from her hospital bed, a tube still pumping oxygen to her failing lungs. In her hands, a call to action.
Asked for like a pen and paper because that was the only way I could communicate. And I wrote, I want to start a no vaping campaign. That was the first thing I did when I opened my eyes.
Seema's story is just the latest in a landslide of incidents linked to vaping, sparking what many officials are calling a national health crisis.
What we've seen in the course of the past, let's say, month, is an increased number of people who are coming in with respiratory problems as a result of vaping.
So far, the Centers for Disease Control report more than 450 possible cases in 33 states of lung illness associated with vaping. And 6 deaths have been confirmed in California, Illinois, Indiana, Minnesota, Oregon, and now Kansas. Last Friday, the CDC issued a stark warning. If you are vaping, no matter how old you are, you should consider stopping.
Like, I didn't think of myself as a smoker. The vaping just makes it seem like it's nothing, like you're doing nothing wrong.
Seema was in high school when she started vaping nicotine.
I was 16 the first time, 15 even, the first time I bought it at a smoke shop. I went in and I was like, can I get a pack of Juul pods? And they were like, how old are you? And I said, 22. And they were just like, okay. It ended up becoming my oxygen. I couldn't live without it. I needed it all the time, every day. But because all of my friends were doing it all the time and no one else had symptoms that I had, I couldn't, like, I wouldn't even have imagined that maybe this is killing me.
Seema was an active, healthy teen. She'd been dancing for years, even making dance team her freshman year of college. But as her vaping habit increased, adding in cannabis, her ability to dance disappeared. She was vaping a cartridge a day. That's like smoking the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes in one day. Her parents had no idea their daughter had become hopelessly addicted.
This healthy dancer dancing 12 hours a week stopped dancing because of it. Stop living because of it. Stop going to school and college because of it.
Seema says she was feeling sick all the time.
Over a year, I lost like 50 pounds without trying.
50 pounds?
Yeah.
By this summer, Seema had stopped going to her college classes. She says her health issues were getting worse, but no doctor could nail down what was wrong.
Did you not tell the doctors that you vaped?
I actually did. I made sure that every hospital, every ER, every doctor's office I went to, I told them that I smoked.
But you never thought, I can't breathe, I feel like I'm gonna die. Maybe it's because I'm vaping every 10 to 15 minutes.
No doctor ever said, like, maybe you should stop vaping.
It all came to a head on August 15th when Seema's dad rushed her to the ER.
I said, go fast. Don't let me close my eyes. Don't let me fall asleep or I won't wake up.
Now, why did you say that?
Because I knew I was dying.
You felt death on you?
Yeah. It was terrifying. The worst part was I couldn't let it, like, my parents watch it happen to me.
But hospital staff couldn't figure out why Seema couldn't breathe. 2 days later, doctors had to put her on a ventilator.
I was begging them, vent her faster, she's going to die. And it was terrifying.
It was in that agonizing moment that Seema's cousin revealed her secret addiction.
She said, you know, she smokes every day. I said, what? What are you talking about? She said, she smokes every day. She smokes that vape. I said, you tell the doctors right now. You go tell the doctors right now. And I ransacked her room and I found all the vapes. They look like gum wrappers. They look like little candy wrappers. They look like little cute mascara wands.
This progression is so fast.
Dr. Catherine Melamed is a pulmonologist at UCLA Medical Center. She worked on Seema's case.
This was Seema's chest x-ray when she came into our hospital. These hazy white areas here at the base, at the bottom of her lungs, just show that she could have a pneumonia. But what you can then see is if we choose an x-ray from just less than 48 hours later, whoa. Now her lungs, all of this white haziness here is inflammation. From just day 1 to day 3 is remarkable.
Dr. Melamed is on the front lines of what health officials fear is an emerging crisis. The National Youth Tobacco Survey found a 78% jump in e-cigarette usage among high school students alone, but any research on the impacts of vaping lags far behind.
Part of vaping is heating oil and then inhaling that oil. And that's not something the lung is used to inhaling. And so with that comes an inflammatory reaction that then produces phlegm and sputum and gives the lungs sort of that wet cough phlegm property.
That sounds terrible.
Yes.
And dangerous.
Yes.
Last month, 17-year-old Tristan Zofeld described how he spent 18 days in the hospital fighting for his life after vaping.
I woke up just throwing up everywhere, and my heart was just pounding out of my chest, going 100 miles an hour.
Tristan lost 15 pounds and said he had to relearn to walk. And just yesterday, a Texas teen had to be rushed to the hospital after vaping at school.
He hit it, he passed out, and he would not wake up. Like, he was not waking up.
In Wisconsin today, a man was arrested for making thousands of illegal THC vaping cartridges.
Don't do it.
The state of New York is taking an aggressive approach in an attempt to find answers and crack down on black market products.
You shouldn't be vaping products that clearly you don't know what you're smoking or you're vaping.
Many vaping products are popular with young adults and teenagers, but no company has taken more heat than Juul, the industry leader. The company says it's designed to get adult smokers off cigarettes. But just this week, the FDA sent a warning letter to Juul accusing it of illegally marketing its nicotine vape products as safer than traditional cigarettes without proof. Juul responded, "We share these concerns about youth vaping." It adds it shut down its Facebook and Instagram accounts and recently began deploying new technology to verify IDs.
Is this her?
Yeah, that's her. Yeah.
But Seema's mom blames the whole industry for trying to hook kids early.
The fact that they market this crap to children and they turn it into pink, pretty purple packaging candy pisses me off.
There's a lot we don't know about the both short-term and long-term consequences of vaping. And so I would just say, don't.
In the weeks since Seema has worked to rehab her lungs, she still feels that pull to pick up the vape.
Now I don't necessarily crave the nicotine, I don't necessarily crave the weed, it's just craving like the act of smoking. So that's been my hardest thing, of like staying away from it.
But she hopes that going public with her story can keep her and countless others like her alive.
What would you tell somebody who's under 18, who's thinking about vaping and says, I'm just gonna try it one time to see what it's like?
I would show them my pictures and say, I tried it once too, and then I tried it another time, and then another time. It's just remembering that you don't need it, like it's gonna kill you.
In the video about Seema, you saw how vaping caused a near-death health crisis. Did you know vaping could cause such serious injury and/or death? Did you know the rates of serious injury and death are rising rapidly? What are your thoughts on this? These videos illustrate how easy it is to start vaping and how extremely difficult it is to stop, highlighting the importance of not ever starting. However, if you or a friend are addicted or struggling to quit, do you know how to get help? There are many useful websites and phone numbers to help teens with vaping concerns, such as teen.smokefree.gov, thetruth.com, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, and many others. You can find them on our new student resource page, accessible through Clever. And don't forget our Say Something Anonymous reporting system is also located on Clever and can be used at any time, day and night. Now we are going to take a few minutes to learn about Live Free Clubs. Live Free Clubs are a place for students to show their passion and leadership for empowering their peers, school, and community to live a substance-free, healthy lifestyle. Live Free Clubs are led by students and are a powerful tool to help prevent youth drug and alcohol use in schools and the community. Live Free Clubs help change the culture of their school and community through positive messages, educational initiatives, and ongoing activities. Live Free Clubs can merge with existing clubs such as Stuco, PMAC, SAVE, or can stand alone. If you are interested in learning more or becoming a Live Free Club member, please contact the Live Free champion at your school. The champion will provide you with information on how to join the club. To check out before we transition, please take a moment to complete the exit ticket. Thank you for your attention and participation. Please let your teacher know if you need to talk to someone about the things that were discussed today. Remember, mental health matters.